think Stockbridge and Rosick are intending to go directly to Wallace Corporation, bypassing any other avenues, going right straight to the top to find out some stuff. Is that correct?
We have pinned down the other most likely suspects.
Right.
So when we have them all in hand, right, the maid's boyfriend, right. The actual boyfriend, right, the most likely patsies, then it's time to
they had yet to interview boyfriend 2.0, right?
Yeah, boyfriend 2.0, because they just put out a request to have him brought in during shift 2, and
that's the maid's boyfriend.
Maid's boyfriend,
okay.
Mr. Jared Peterson. And then I believe that your intention for going to Wallace Corp also, Craig, was to, or I'm sorry, Mr. Rosick was to, Detective Rosick was to go ask about the behavioral modifications, like, or how do you break through these things if you need to.
Right.
That's your
specifically for the pleasure bot. Yep.
And then for Bennett and Quaid, I think
Snake Pit.
Plan to go.
Snake Pit.
Oh, you're going to the Snake Pit. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Bar hopping.
The idea is to try and get the
tapes,
the exonerating tapes for what's his face?
Wallace. Who's the boyfriend?
For Melbourne. For Melbourne, because there were tapes of Melbourne at the Snake Pit at the time of the murder, and so that's what we needed to procure, because that eliminates Melbourne as a suspect. And the other thing I need to do is follow up on the crime lab results, autopsy and crime scene analysis, I guess.
Exactly. Okay, and then I had you down. Your last thing was visiting Muniz Technologies, or how do we pronounce this?
Muniz. It's like cognac, but it's the same sound as in cognac.
Okay. So it sounds Hungarian, is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, pretty much.
Right, because we do definitely need to talk to the father.
Right. Okay.
Who we believe to be on planet, right?
You believe to be on planet right now. So as far as you know, they're on world, which is not always the case. And somebody remind me of this guy's name that runs the Snake Pit.
It's
Taffy.
Taffy.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Jeez, I'm the only one who's only seen the movie once too.
You had that look on your face that said that I saw the memory dawning. Like, yeah.
but is it a real memory?
Sure, it is.
Is a real memory not a real memory when it's not in the memory of the person who's remembering it?
Maybe I haven't seen the movie at all. I think I saw it.
Okay. All righty, and I think we're ready to start. Should we just dive right in?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. Who wants to go first? Well, okay. In that case, it will be Stockbridge and Rosick. Okay. Up to Wallace Corporation. Wallace Corporation, while still under some construction, is a remarkable building, dwarfs even Tyrell Corporation, which is, amazing. Just an absolutely enormous building. Your spinner is like directed to a certain area once you pass the basic security clearance, as members of the RDU. You're told where to park, shuttled in, and meeting with some personnel there. You're instantly led to an area past like the usual reception type areas, and you're directed by somebody. They never give their name. A good assumption would it be it's probably a replicant, to a very, very large room. And when I say large, I mean that your apartments could fit in this room several times, all 4 of your apartments. And it's large, spacious. The ceiling is among the highest you've ever seen. And it's opulent and sparse. Just a display of, I control this much space. And this is just one of many rooms. And you're directed, there's a few chairs. And then you're just kind of left there.
I feel like I would have given a list of who we need to meet with, and it would be positional, not by names. So I would want, and remind me, we saw evidence of a modification. Is that right? Or we just questioned that there was a modification to the programming of the pleasure bot?
You actually saw some evidence that there was modification. That was in the actual specs.
That's right. Okay.
That Troy was able to bring up on himself, and the specs were that he was essentially programmed to be docile, more docile than usual, and fanatically loyal to his owner.
So I would want at least 2 people, and by all means, my partner can add to this, but I would want 2 people. I'd want the highest possible person in QA and quality, and then I would also want the highest person from a developer standpoint. So whoever's the behavior developer that is the highest rank, and then whoever's in charge of quality assurance.
We also want to speak to whoever's responsible for after market service.
Yeah, that's three that we expect to be brought to us.
Okay, so let me just make sure I have these notes down correct, so I don't make any mistakes here. So QA.
Yep.
And
the somebody in charge, the highest ranking person in personality development.
Personality, yep.
And then
customer service.
Yeah. Okay. So you have made all of this known upon your entrance.
Correct.
You've spoken to reception type individuals, and once again, they know who you are, or what you are at least. And like I said, you've been escorted to this room, and there you are.
I'm going to give him 10 minutes. Ten minutes pass, I assume?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Is the door locked?
Door you came in, or the door on the other end of the room?
I'll
There are
check the
two
one
doors. There are 2 doors.
to the east and the west. It's a 10 by 10 room. The one where we came in.
Not locked.
So open it up, and I'm finding the closest person.
So you're wandering the halls. And Stockbridge?
I'm wandering the halls with him.
Okay. Doesn't take very long before somebody dressed in one of the identical uniforms of the Wallace Corporation. May I help you, sirs?
Yeah. We have an appointment to speak with three individuals. Reception knows who those individuals are. We have been waiting 10 minutes. The only thing worse than 2 of us here is 10 more of us showing up.
I see. Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah, whoever needs to know that, you should let them know.
They touch their ear, and they're not saying anything. it's a good chance there's some vocalizing and communicating with somebody. Let's see. You can go back to the room and wait. I'm sure it'll be only another 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, 4 minutes now because you it took you a minute to get that communicated.
And they smile and nod, and then lead
Okay.
you back to the room.
We'll wait 4 minutes.
Okay. 3 minutes go by, and the other door opens. And a tall, sternly dressed woman, walks in, short black hair, and walks in and sits down in one of the chairs facing your detective. And see that you're somewhat impatient.
Yeah. The longer this the longer this takes for us to figure out, the more at risk your company is.
At
Because
risk. What do we?
We can only keep this under the lid that one of your pleasure bots potentially killed an owner. We can only keep this under the lid for so long.
It's measured in hours now, maybe minutes.
So
That's the first I'm hearing about it. That's a very serious accusation, detective. What can you tell me?
Let's do this the other way around, where you answer our questions.
I'm here to help.
how much aftermarket work can be done on this model? And I slide a sheet of paper over the model. And if I had enough money, how much change could I expect in the behavioral modifications? Can any of the safety measures be removed if I had enough money?
In other words, are you asking, could one of our products kill somebody?
Well, we're not there yet. Let's answer the first part. That's part A.
Well, as you know, here at Wallace Corporation, we offer several different models of replicants depending upon the owner's needs. So pretty much the sky's the limit. Depends on how much you want to pay. As far as, I assume you're talking about aftermarket
Correct.
modification
Not off the shelf.
by Wallace Corporation or elsewhere.
Let's start with, go ahead, Stockbridge. Yes, exactly.
Starting with
Yes means both. Starting with Wallace.
both. Well, we can essentially do any sort of modification the customer requires, maintaining a certain standard of safety of our product to fall within UN guidelines, of course. Once again, depending upon the stated nature of the model desired. If you want a military model, of course, then certain safeties are off, but it depends upon the situation. You, of course, point them in the correct direction, if you will.
Well, let's say, hypothetically, that there is a relatively large market for pleasure models. And human pleasures vary. Some pleasure can be the illusion of pain, where some pleasure might be the actual experience of pain or some degree of threat. I would imagine there's a certain line that your programming would have to handle for these specific requests. Is that not true?
Are you asking on an academic level for the case, or are you trying to determine what you would like to buy, detective?
I came in the top. we can come back with a warrant if you prefer.
Yeah, I'm getting frustrated with this, Stockbridge. I think we just. Why don't you do this for me? I've got who purchased. I've got the name of the pleasure bot. I want the entire service history done via Wallace, and then any history that you have being done on this unit post market, if that's tracked at all.
We only track what we do. Detective.
Okay, great. So let's get that pulled.
So you're giving them
Yeah, the Troy.
information.
Yeah, whatever information they need, a VIN number.
Oh yeah. Come with me, detective. And it's not a very far walk because literally she walks over to, a long walk, but to one of the walls
In the same room.
It's a fold down terminal that comes out, and she starts typing stuff in, pulling stuff out, scanning things. The stuff is going by impossibly fast, and yet she's navigating it. Oh, yes, here are. Yes, this one had request by Miss Muniz for, oh yes, extreme docility, more than usual obedience to owner. No other modifications.
Well, that detail is of some interest to us. What does that really entail for obedience? We're talking suicide?
We all have a certain level of obedience built into ourselves. Of course, suicide, yes. They could kill themselves if commanded to. There are certain safeguards. No, that's the wrong way to say it. There are behavioral protocols in place. There's a certain level of interpretation of any command allowed. This becomes much more concrete with this modification. In other words, somebody could use what you would call, say, common sense. Yeah. My owner requested that I do this. However, based on this particular situation, I should step around that, or I'm going to interpret what their intent actually was. This, on the other hand, allows for less of that. Does that make sense?
It does. Who's imprinted as the owner? Is there multiple owners imprinted?
It is only one Victoria Muniz.
Okay. So with that, as best as you know, with no post-market modifications, that means only obedient to her. So if anybody were to try to elicit that same level of obedience, it's not possible. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Could the owner instruct the replicant to treat another person, say a spouse or family member, with the same level of obedience?
Yes. There's a possibility that if the secondary person, if you will, instructed the model to do something that in the past the primary had something to say about, that it would go check with the primary.
Can this be undone at this point?
Oh, absolutely. It is going to be rather painful, and it's a good chance that it will result in the eventual destruction of the model, but yes, it can be done.
What about destruction of the model's memory?
It may. It can be a little tricky. Memories are such strange things.
If we were to bring the model in, can you determine if any of that's happened?
Oh, the model should definitely be brought in. Where is it now?
I've lost track. I'll look into that for you. How does that sound?
Certainly. And the owner.
The owner, I'm sure you'll be hearing about in headlines very soon.
I see.
If you do a little mental calculation, you understand what unit it is that you're speaking to and why we'd be asking these questions. There's no need to ask, what about the owner?
Let's use that common sense programming.
Of course. Well, in that case, upon the death of an owner, the model becomes the immediate property of Wallace Corporation. So they should be returned immediately. Where did you say it was?
If only it weren't evidence.
If only.
Any more questions, Detective?
I don't think so. I don't think so. When we return this model, where do we bring it to? Who do we bring it to?
Oh, you can bring it right here.
Great. We'll see if we can't track it down.
Thank you, Detective.
You've been very helpful. We have
Oh.
2 more appointments that we would like to carry out, though.
Who else would you like to speak to?
Who are you? Are you in charge of
Pretty much
anything?
assuming she was customer service.
Yeah, I was assuming the same.
He asked if she was in charge of anything?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Detective, my name is Quell. I am in charge.
Would I have known that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Well, there is, yeah, no, you might have known Quell is, in fact, the second in command at Wallace Corporation.
Got it.
You would know that. It's also known as she is a replicant. One of the only ones that Wallace has given a name. Unlike the Tyrell series, that series of replicants, which were named, Wallace Corporation only provides serial numbers.
One quick question before I forget. Do you have a list of authorized dealers who could potentially make post-market modifications?
There are no authorized dealers, only Wallace Corporation.
Okay.
Of course, as you know, the world is rife with black market counterfeits.
Yes.
Things which
give me that list.
Of the black market list.
Yep. I want to know who's capable of this.
Detective, that's your job. You are the RDU. We ensure the safety and quality of our product. The criminal element, that's your job. We can only trust that you would help us to maintain our patents and ability to operate within the law without our name being besmirched by these criminals and lowlifes.
So safe to say that you have Wallace Corporation in no way has tried to contain the risks of black market modifications. Is that safe to say? That you have no awareness or tracking?
Detective.
It seems like a liability.
Of course, Detective. If we were to do anything, that would be against the law. I seem to remember that the RDU looks down on vigilantism. We would not like to be accused of that.
Well, that's fantastic. Your willingness to assist in this at such a high level to assist in this investigation is good news. And, do you have a contact number where we can bypass the circus that's trying to keep us apart, so we can contact you directly with any further questions or developments?
Of course, Detective. And she, instantly transfers something right into your Kia. I mean, it literally zaps in there. Like, how the hell did you just access that and throw this information in there?
Okay, I think we're fine. We appreciate the time. I mean, at some point, I would assume soon you're going to realize just how much risk is out there right now by this not getting solved. And once you fully understand that and realize how much help Wallace Corporation is going to want to provide to this investigation, you know how to get in touch with us. So when you're done double talking and you're ready to help, time's ticking.
Ask for
not-
Detective Odin Rossett.
Of course.
We can find our way out.
Stockbridge. Well, that won't be necessary. And already there's like 2 people walking through the door. It's been a pleasure.
Stockbridge, I thought this was going to be a waste of time, and I underestimated that.
Okay. So you're being walked back to your vehicle. Now, let us flash back over to Bennett and Dutch Quaid.
Dutch Quaid.
Dutch.
So en route to the snake pit, I would like to check. Pull up the communication device on the spinner and try to reach headquarters.
Boom. Your dispatch pops up.
Dispatch.
Hey there, gorgeous. What's up?
Hello. Do we have any updates on the crime lab data from crime scene investigation or from autopsy results?
Oh, let me see
of
right away.
Muniz?
Because let me see, and boom, her outfit changes, and she's dressed in scrubs and has a hat on, and she's pulling the gloves off. Ah, yes, the autopsy results are in. I will connect you to Coco. 1 second. And you can even see she's even got the blood spatter on an apron. Boom. You're transferred over all of a sudden to Coco, the head of the crime lab and the chief medical officer. And this man is dressed in a white lab coat, no blood spatter, not pulling gloves off. Detective Bennett.
Coco, how goes the autopsy?
Oh, it's finished. It's finished. So let's see. I got a tox screen, a bunch of different drugs, but she wasn't really intoxicated at the time of death.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Let me just pull up my notes. All right. So she was definitely died of strangulation, and she did have another blunt force trauma in the back of her head. Really interesting about the murder weapons, though. That's an interesting thing that we found out. Well, go ahead.
So we know there was some sort of ligature applied to her.
Oh yeah, that was a ligature, all right.
Her throat. Any residue or anything to give us an indication of what manner of weapon was used?
Huh. Who do you think you're talking to? Better than that. We're able to take impressions from her skull, impressions from the neck itself. That's really, really interesting stuff here. The wound in back of her head, we were able to actually analyze the stitching on this device. Really remarkable what this tech can do now. And he starts to geek out on this for a second, bring himself back. It's remarkable. It fits a standard issue SAP used by security forces, private security forces. And he can give you like the manufacturer, there's a couple different manufacturers of this thing. Same thing with the ligature marks on the neck, based on the actual microscopic analysis of the pattern on this. This is a garrote. Not just a necktie, not just a rope. Another professional device. Same companies making these devices. Well, I guess you'd call them security. I don't know if you call them security or assassins, but
Makes sense.
You know,
That's why we
these are not like these are not things that are laying around somebody use. These are professional weapons.
makes sense. That's why we didn't find any of the weapons in the apartment itself. If they're pros, they took it with them.
The mark on the back of the head doesn't indicate the work of a pro, and the garrote marks. Well, it looks like they tried a couple of different times. So I'm going to say it was professional weapons used by non-professional. But then again, you're a detective. I'm just just a lab. Other than that, everything else was pretty unremarkable.
All right. All right. Anything else you can think of, Quaid?
No, makes sense.
Who's heading the crime scene investigation?
Oh, in my department, man. I'll send you right
Oh.
back to dispatch. Any other questions, though?
No, the time of death obviously matches the footage, no? From midnight through 1 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I think that's
We'll
all
give
we have for now.
approximate time of death at about 12:42, give or take.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
No
We'll
other
keep in touch.
and no other signs of violence on the body other than the head trauma and the garrote.
Yeah, there's that slight bit of bruising in the back. Looks like somebody like placed their knee like really hard against that, and must have done it like enough probably just the impact of their knee and hitting the back once again. Could have been somebody that wasn't very skilled at this sort of thing, and so broke an artery right there. So that's why there was so much bruising, in an individual that passed, not so long after that. I'm sure it doesn't look like there's a heck of a lot of struggle either. It looks like they knocked her right out. I'm sure she came to a little bit, but nothing under the fingernails, Sad. Beautiful girl. So you guys think it was the skin job that did it? That's what I hear.
I think it's too early to tell, but we have one replicant in custody. Thanks. If you come up with anything else out of the ordinary, you let us know right away.
Oh, hey, Dutch, no offense.
One taken.
All right, dispatch, put us through to the CSI.
Sure thing. And now she looks much more stern, and she pops you right through the crime scene investigation. The kind of nerdy looking sort of detective there. And so, yeah. Hey, detective, what's going on, man?
I'm assuming the investigation proceeds at pace. We found fingerprints corresponding to any of the subjects being interrogated at this time?
Oh yeah, you got a bunch of fingerprints. You got fingerprints here from that Sylvia Mancini woman. You've got fingerprints obviously from the deceased. Fingerprints from looks like her father, Cornelius Muniz. Let's see who else here. We've got that boyfriend of hers who's got like been fingerprinted a million times. Let's see. A few other people. And he starts rattling off a list of names.
Right.
It looks like she's had a few guests in the home.
Right.
Of course, we got fingerprints of this skin job that was living there.
Makes sense.
Nothing out of the ordinary. It really doesn't look like anything's there that's too unusual.
How about the surveillance gear? Any forensic data on those tampered video files, security cameras?
Oh, Eddie. This is the guy got pops in the interview. Hey, detective. Yeah, real pro job. Whoever tampered with this. I mean, these are real. This is a real pro setup as well. To be honest with you, I've seen some of their technology before, and it's real top notch. It's just really weird. It's made to be self-contained. Not uploading anything. Whoever did this did it professionally. This is not a hack job. Somebody knew exactly where to go and stop it, and splice things in, where to erase stuff. We tried to see if we could pick up any latent imaging from the past, but these things are really good. There's a set to go, wherever the user wants, 48 hours, 36 hours. This one's a 48 hour, and it just erases everything. But we tried to go back and see if there's any kind of artifacts. Nothing. There should be, but once again, whoever did this really did a good job.
Are you able to tell if they use some sort of hacking to access the unit, or if the native security codes were used? Like, did somebody enter with the having known a bypass code, or was there some evidence of hacking? Or can you even tell that? I'm not too good with these devices.
He's chuckling at you. Listen, you handle the guns, I'll handle this. No, it was pro. No hacking.
No hacking.
I mean, they must have paid for these codes or whatever, but yeah, just like me walking in here and doing my job.
Right.
Walk in the park.
Right. Quade, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. Thanks, Eddie, for the information. Again, if you should discover something else or make some sort of breakthrough on the data, give us a heads up. But good job. Nice and quick,
Anytime.
as usual.
Anytime.
All right. So thanks. I sign off the terminal.
Bennett,
Well,
I'm sorry. When you check your KIA, I would have left you a message to reach out when you have a minute.
right. It looks like we hit a dead end here with the forensic data, but let's get in touch with Rosek, and I connect. Patch me through to Rosek.
We just got done talking to the Wiles Corporation. As much help as you might have expected. If assuming that records aren't tampered with, doesn't look like any post-market done by Wallace on the Troy unit. I don't know. I don't feel like Munez's boyfriend is no longer a primary for me. But I haven't completely ruled it out. What have you guys figured out?
Well, we seem to have hit a dead end in terms of the forensic data. All we have is that it seems to be somebody well equipped with either professional security connections to obtain the weapons used to kill Miss Muniz, or it was some black market a gear, a garrote, and a sap. Unfortunately, these are standard models, no way to track them. Doesn't seem to be an actual professional doing the killing, but they did have access to those weapons. And as for the security footage, it's someone who had the codes, the access codes. So again, this could be someone close to Miss Muniz, or someone who purchased this information somehow from the manufacturer, which is Muniz subsidiary as well. We are en route to the snake pit to see if we can pick up the security camera footage, which should exonerate Melbourne as a suspect, assuming he's there during the time of the actual crime.
And Stockbridge, I assume you would have seen and heard this. So I'd like to turn to you and go, where do we go now? What thread do we need to pull?
Well, as you know, our recent host at Wallace was kind enough to point out, the black market is our business. So if you really want to pursue this angle of was he altered, well, to my mind, I don't see any reason to suspect that. Right? They've chosen an obedience protocol. Someone told the replicant, "Don't tell anybody," and so he's not telling anybody. I'm not
Yeah.
overly concerned with that. But if
Well,
you want to
and-
go, then we should do it now before.
No, I'm with you.
people
And
disappear.
I feel like that based on what Bennett just said, I feel like if this Troy unit was the applier of the tools and was using the tools, we wouldn't get the amateur or unprofessional feeling that Bennett's forensics person said. I feel like if this unit was the one that actually did this, it would have been quick and clean.
Only if
So
it
I'm
were modified to have those
Well,
skills.
It is a pleasure model, no? So killing is not necessarily within its programming. So it does have the strength to strangle somebody, which
Should have taken her head clean off with a garrote.
seems to indicate that maybe it wasn't them, right? There's the whole knee to the back business, which again we suspect might be somebody physically weaker than a replicant, at
good
least.
call.
Still, you know, it might be worth seeing if there's any way to override those security protocols.
I hate to interject the deliberation, but Odin, wasn't your initial intent to see if you could find somebody black market to turn that off so he would talk?
To
Or am
bypass.
I making that up?
No, you're not.
I was
making
just
it
trying
up.
to figure.
But
Okay.
Stockbridge wasn't
Okay.
there. So
Right. Okay. I'm good. I'm just making sure I didn't miss something. Go ahead. Continue. You're
The
chatting
other
away.
thing is now we have murder weapons to
Yeah.
have the suspects' homes or vehicles searched for. Maybe uniforms can do that.
Oh, and
I
there is
tried-
the added factor of what seems to be professionals tailing Muniz, some sort of surveillance. I wonder if it's her father keeping tabs on his daughter's activities. I'm sure, given Muniz's proclivities, her father was probably concerned about A, her physical safety, and B, any possible scandals to throw bad light on, Muniz's corporate interests.
yeah,
So we might consider going to Muniz Senior himself and seeing, what happened to his security detail, assuming it was him keeping tabs on his daughter.
Well, we should first have the ID on those bastards that were tailing them. It'll be good
So
too if we can identify them and we know where they're from Muniz or where they're from somewhere else. Maybe even your friends at Wallace.
True.
so we have our method, tools specifically designed for murder, brought to the scene and removed from the scene by an assailant. We have our method. Opportunity, we're still just as much in the dark as we were when we started the investigation. And motive, I have no idea why anyone would want this girl dead.
Correct.
Like after talking to the boyfriend, Melbourne, he seems to be outraged to be some kind of cuckold, but he doesn't seem to actually be doing anything about it.
So Stockbridge, what do we want to pick up this unit and take it to the underside of town and see what can be pulled out?
I would much rather find someone we think can do it and take them into Troy.
Yeah, and that's what I don't have a sense of, like equipment wise, whether that's whether they do house calls or not.
What about the Peterson angle? Boyfriend of the housekeeper maybe meets Muniz. Muniz doesn't seem to be very discriminating. She takes him in, They start a relationship. Maybe she rejects him later on.
Right. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Or he
But
could have been
again-
sent there.
Yeah. Again, your security team question hangs over it large, unless they're just so used to the parade of lovers coming in and out of there that they're, inured to it.
And what kind of access would that maid's boyfriend have to that type of equipment? That's the part that's sticking with
That's
me.
the part that doesn't.
Well,
yeah.
depends on who he actually is, whether he actually works in deliveries. He could have gotten close to this maid as part of a mission.
For this purpose. Yeah.
So about this time, as you fellows are in your respective spinners and pairs, talking to each other over the comms, boom! Like the comms get totally interrupted by an urgent message from Holden. And Deputy
hang
Chief Holden almost never actually calls you guys. Will he have a flunky leave a message? This is a direct incoming priority communique from Deputy Chief Holden. And so it's not even like an option to accept or not accept. It's like a 3, 2, 1, here comes the call sort of thing. If you're involved in another call, or then it's over, or if you're doing something, press save because your data is about to be erased.
Kind of like when Anthony sends the game link.
exactly. Do it now. It's now or never, kids. Boom, 1, 2, 3, bam. And Holden is got one cigarette in the ashtray. He's got another cigarette in his hand. He looks extremely agitated and red-faced, wheezing more than normal. And he's like, what the hell did you do? I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start, but it has hit the fan. So I don't know what you're doing, but figure this out. I've got the brother of the victim showing up at her apartment, asking questions. Where is she? What's going on? And the last thing we want is for this thing to go public before we figure out who done it, what's going on, right? Okay, that's wonderful. In the meantime, I get called that the rep, your freaking suspect, has beat up this Officer Blackman and 2 other officers. Tooled them up. So now we got a violent replicant, violent skin job in custody. Okay? We got the brother there, but it gets better. Okay, because I don't know what the hell you said, but I've got Wallace Corporation demanding immediate return of their model. And legal action if we don't return it within the hour.
The replicant is evidence, Chief. They can request all they want, but we don't have to comply. And if they want to nose it around publicly, well, then they're damaging their own reputation. I think they would want to help us keep it quiet.
Detective, you may think you see the big picture. You only see part of it. The picture's a lot bigger than what you think.
Sorry. I'll just go back to driving.
I understand. There's logic in what you say. However, as somebody said, first thing, let's kill all the lawyers. And they ain't dying. So there's only so much.
Probably
Circumstantial
applying
evidence
inappropriate
suggests
tactics.
the lawyer said that.
Well, Chief, we need that replicant in custody. It's whatever it's in its memory constitutes important data. We just haven't been able to extract it. This could be he might have seen something, or he might confess. The important thing is, if we hand him over to Wallace, then who knows what they do to his memories. And
Wallace strongly implied that there's likely memory loss, not to mention possible fatality of any effort to go in and extract or change anything.
Jesus. And he's putting one cigarette down the ashtray, pick the other cigarette up, taking a drag off that one.
Yeah, it seems like the perfect setup, Chief. The android did it. Some sort of jealous rage, and then he kills it, except it doesn't match anything else. Why is he there? Where are the murder weapons? Have been removed. If he killed her, where is the, how did he get those weapons? And if he killed her, why erase the security footage if you want to frame him for the job?
Right.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Would have been a perfect deal to have the replicant kill her and then have everything on tape, nice and tied up in a bow tie.
Or a garrote.
Or a garrote. Yeah.
Oh,
Chief, do we have anybody on staff that could get into this Troy model and potentially free up this memory? Or should Stockbridge and I get someone to come in off the street?
Jesus. Oh, God. You don't want to take him. You
I'd
can
rather-
try this guy. He sends you a name, this guy, Doc Badger. Who may. He said, this guy might not be able to do it, but he should be able to know who can. But, Christ, you don't want to take him out. If you take him off the station, then
We'll bring someone
Loss-
in, Chief. We'll bring someone in.
There's another
Really?
important consideration as well. Sanders and Blackman were in there. By the time we arrived on scene, they were already concluding the cleanup without really having provided any of these details. I just wonder if there are outside influences here trying to interfere with this investigation and wrap it up before we've been able to complete it.
maybe they are, but that's your job. Figure this out, because I've got everybody and their brother breathing down my neck.
Right.
So Stockbridge, I'm thinking you and I head back.
Sneak Troy out the back door.
You
Well,
deliver later, boys. And he hangs up. Bam.
let's
He
let's call
doesn't want to be party to any conversations
let's call-
like this.
let's call the
Doesn't
doctor.
care.
Let's figure out who needs to be brought in. Because I agree. I prefer we keep the model, especially considering how it's been acting. We keep it, within the building, keep it locked up. And then the brother's new. Maybe have someone pick up the brother and bring him in.
You game for that, Dutch Bennett?
Probably should talk to him at least, see what he knows. He might just have walked into the apartment and walked into a crime scene, right? But it might be interesting. He might know about the security detail. I don't know, but perhaps
just point information. Nobody, the officers on scene, haven't even told the brother what the hell's going on. He's
Right.
just seeing security tape on his sister's apartment and is asking a bunch of questions.
right.
Proceed.
We still need to do a notification to the family.
Stockbridge and Rosa, perhaps your first instinct to sneak the replicant out the back door is a good one. If anyone else in the department is compromised by somebody bribing them to interfere with this investigation, they might, I don't know, they might try to do something to the replicant. So perhaps.
Do any of us believe that this replicant is capable of violent acts?
What about somebody doing violent acts on it? Or,
Well, wait, just a second. We were just informed that it did attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it reported that it attacked?
All right. Let's go visit Troy again. And on the way, I want to find out who's available. If we do get Troy out of there, who can we take it to?
Yeah. You gents can handle yourselves, but if you're gonna take him out of there, you should let me know so I can meet you.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that a lot. Maybe we can requisition a van.
I need some backup. All right.
Normally, you get to visit one location a shift. However, seeing as things have happened very fast,
And we haven't made it to the location, actually.
I know. They have, but because seeing that the visit to Wallace Corporation was rather short, I'm going to be a little liberal and follow my instincts in terms of time. And so you each get to do one more thing.
All right.
So the Stockbridge and Rozek are planning to go back to see Troy.
Yeah, and on the way, figure out where's the best place to take Troy.
Okay.
And maybe we bypass the snake pit and go speak to the brother, because the snake pit sounds like exculpatory evidence, right? And it's fine if we have time to exonerate this guy, but what we really need to do is find whoever's responsible.
Yeah.
My main question is, were these meatheads following Miss Muniz,
Or
or were
Melbourne.
they tailing our suspects?
Melbourne, right? That's a good.
Well,
Do
I'll
we
do
want to
you.
split up?
We can.
I'll do you both good. Rozek, you're able to get in touch with the Stock Badger relatively fast, and he's telling you your best option. Really is the to do something like that. He goes a black market, not so much, but like you can go right to Tyrell Dream Labs, and they should be able to do it. They do subcontract. She doesn't work for a while, but they subcontract. They're legit, but they're your top people, man. There's the people that you want to take somebody to, if you want to have anybody do anything. They're up and legit, but they got no love for Wallace either. Dutch, you're able to contact dispatch without a problem. They were able to identify the two goons that were in the early queue, and these two fellas are one Michael Agronsky and one Charles Shipman, and
What floor does he live on?
yeah,
The third floor.
yeah, third floor.
And that guy looks guilty. I don't know about you.
Both in employ of Muniz Security Systems.
All right. Okay.
Which is a multi-tiered organization, just one of the many holdings.
All right. We don't want to make any assumptions, but it's hard to imagine they were not security for the victim.
Right. I
Still,
think
we can.
talked-
Especially with that lifestyle.
So I think we talked to the brother in that case.
Okay.
That takes priority. Very good.
Okay. So, seeing as you spoke first, you can go right to the victim's apartment, which is where the brother still is, still not being told anything by the time you get to the rather flustered looking officer on duty. And that you're also getting a personal communication. I forget your doxy friend's name.
Irina.
Irina. Oh, that's right.
Irina.
And just pops up, little. Are you answering or no?
If I can while driving, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there, cowboy. How you doing?
Doing good. What's up?
Just the usual. We'll try to keep the people entertained. So, what you working on? Any exciting cases?
Well, I wouldn't call it exciting. Might hit the news though. Keep an eye peeled.
News? Something big?
Somebody, an off-worlder, possibly sanctioned by replicant, but we don't know yet.
Oh my God. You know what that means?
Hell yes.
Keep me informed. Let me know which replicant.
Can't talk about it yet. You know how it is.
I understand, baby. Well, be good, cowboy.
When have I not been?
And she gives you an evil laugh, and the phone link is severed.
Yeah.
And now, just a very, very flustered looking officer on duty trying to answer the questions of this young man who is quite annoyed at this point. He's the young man is dressed rather well in a very expensive suit, the kind of suit that probably cost your entire year's salary. His hair is perfect. His shoes are perfect. Everything about him is perfect. Chiseled, perhaps, you're not sure if he's really that good looking or it's all the plastic surgery that money can buy. Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, as we're walking in, I'm checking my KIA to make sure that face on record matches that of Muniz, right? Maybe get his name or anything off the KIA before I start talking to the guy. So
that's Abraham. That's Abraham Muniz. He's one of the not only the son of Cornelius Muniz, but also the
heir apparent.
Oh, he's not the heir apparent. Heir apparent is actually Victoria.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
And pulling stuff up, he is second in line, but he runs.
So now he's the heir apparent.
He runs a lot of the business for me. Interestingly, if you're pulling up information like that, Victoria runs nothing. But this fellow runs quite a bit of the operation. Maybe they can tell me something. Are you cops? What's going on here?
Hello, Mr. Muniz. I'm Detective Bennett. This is Detective Quaid. Step with us aside here for a moment, and we pull him to a corner of the foyer, right? Because there's like, I think there was one other apartment at the area, but not within the crime scene.
Apartments, yeah.
Right.
And I mean, these apartments, if they don't, the doors don't open and face each other, you have to walk down a pretty long hall to get to the next one.
Right. So we get a little bit of distance
from
the doors, a little bit of privacy for us three. Let me say, Mr. Muniz, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. This is now a crime scene investigation.
What did she do?
When did you last speak to your sister?
I don't know. What's this all about?
Is Mr. Cornelius Senior? I mean, is Mr. Cornelius Muniz available for discussion? I'm sure you have a direct line to him, and perhaps we could.
Father, of course. What's going on? Nobody's telling me anything.
I understand, Mr.
It's an outrage.
As I said, it's an ongoing investigation, sir. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to tell you that your sister is the victim of a crime. Preliminary investigation suggests that your sister has been murdered.
Suggests that my sister has been murdered. What, you don't know if she's alive or not?
No, sir. I'm afraid she is dead, and we offer our condolences.
What the hell did she do?
Well, as I said, there's indication of a violent attack on her, which resulted in her death. We're in the middle of the investigation. In the earliest stages, as a matter of fact, this happened last night. So again, I ask you, sir, it's quite vital. What time did you last speak to your sister?
My God, we don't. This is unreal. He's kind of leaning against the wall, looking for a place to sit down, but there's no place to sit down. But I'm guessing maybe a couple weeks ago. We don't talk that much. My father, jeez, oh, what a nightmare this is going to be. So he sent me to go get her today. He wanted to talk shop. We're preparing to go off world soon. But
So you're muted.
The dogs. When was the last time you spoke to the security team that you had on her when she left the house?
security team we have on her. Well, I don't know if we've got security on or not. Maybe Dad put some security on her just to keep her the hell out of trouble. Geez, she'll need a whole armada after her to keep her out of trouble.
Seems like we need to talk to Dad. I tell that to Bennett.
Is
Can you get us in touch with your father?
Yeah, I can get in touch with him. I need to get to the terminal. Maybe the easiest. I don't have my. And he's looking around. I don't have anything on me right now. I'd have to go to my car or the terminal in the house to call him. He seems really, really flustered at this point.
Or we could go meet him.
Mr. Muniz, do you have by any chance access to the apartment and the security footage? We seem to be having some trouble accessing it. Could you come with us to the scene and access the video terminal, please?
Sure, I can do that.
The door's locked, I'm afraid. Do you have the code keys?
I don't know what the code is. He just types and stuff. Bam, gets himself right in.
So I don't let him go into the kitchen, but I guide him to the master bedroom. It's like, this is highly unusual, you understand, but time might be of the essence. The security terminal is in the bedroom, I believe. We guide them to the master bedroom,
He just types over that, and I mean, you can tell his hands are shaking. He missed the keystroke a couple times and has to back up and whatnot. But he said, we'll bring the security footage right up. Can you tell? Did somebody get a chance? Are we looking for something? Looking for somebody? It's like,
there seems to be, we're particularly interested in the hours of midnight through 1 a.m., the security footage. We believe this to be the time of the attack on your sister.
So he gets right there, bam. And he's running stuff, and you can see different screens running things at like normal speed, twice speed, 10 times speed.
Right. I'm looking at him, right, to see his reaction, how he's handling this whole.
Okay, so why don't you give me a roll?
It's insight, is it?
Probably. Sounds good.
Oh, there we go. You got one success.
Hey, that's all you need, man. Yeah, he's definitely got the look and feel of somebody about him that is in shock. And he is, clearly a little bit distracted and, making some mistakes at tasks that seem to be fairly routine. But it's sort of like that thing when like you're so distracted you forget your own phone number for a second. You're trying to give somebody your address and you're just so freaked out you can't. Something along those lines. And he's watching the whole footage thing, and you can tell he sees the blip where all of a sudden the body just appears and he kind of like starts for a second and then stops things and rewinds moves. But he just looks really, really shocked.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Muniz. You have been very helpful. Rest assured, our forensics department is working to try to elucidate as much data from this footage as possible.
This doesn't make sense, though. Then you don't see the attacker, and then there's a flip, and then
Yeah,
she's not in the kitchen. Then she's in the kitchen. And oh my god, he's zooming in, and now he's zooming in.
right now. So,
Her face down.
I reach over and try to shut down the monitor. It's like perhaps it's best if you you take your time processing this. Let's get you down to the station so you can
It sits down the bed.
identify your sister's remains, and
He sits on the bed. He's already lit up a cigarette, because it's Blade Runner. Shaking, waiting a cigarette, fumbling around for the ashtray.
yeah. Do you think you can get us in to see your father as soon as possible? We believe he had a security detail on your sister, and so they may have seen somebody enter or leave the premises. That might be important information for us.
Yeah, I can.
Plus also, who would want to kill your sister?
Who wouldn't want to kill her? Yeah. She's gonna get herself into trouble, and so he pops. He's going back up to the terminal, and like boom, there's another thing where he all of a sudden his image of his father pops up. Father doesn't call him dad, calls him father. Father, gruff-looking man, in a suit that looks like his son's suit. If his son bought 100 suits, it might equal the cost of this suit.
Please don't compare it to our clothes.
To your salary. If you were to work for 5,000 years, you might be able to afford the cufflinks of this suit. And did you get in touch with your sister? What's going on? It's like, Father, I have terrible news. Victoria's been murdered. Murdered? By who? What's going on? What are you talking about, murder?
Mr. Muniz, and I show him my badge.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Detective Bennett of the RDU, and
I don't really care who you are. What's going on?
Well, sir, I'm afraid your son's report is correct. Your daughter is a murder victim, and we're in the process of conducting the investigation into her death. We are on behalf of the police department, we offer our condolences for your loss.
I don't need your goddamn condolences. Who killed her?
We're in the process of determining that, sir. Any information you might have which may be useful to us would be helpful in conducting this investigation. Sir, when did you last speak to your daughter?
And he's looking at you like, I spoke to her yesterday. What difference does this make?
Well,
we need to determine a motive. Who would have wanted to see her dead? Your son seems to think that she was going to get herself in trouble any day.
Secondly, I'm sure a number of people wanted that. She was an exasperating girl. But what?
That's really exasperating.
Well, sir, I'm sure somebody of your daughter's station and with somebody of your level of resources, you must have some sort of information on her whereabouts as of late, and I wonder if you could share that with us to assist in expediting this investigation.
Get yourself a warrant. I'm sure you have information.
What about her security team? Maybe they saw somebody following her. Could we talk to them?
I'm sure you can talk to the security details assigned to her. That's not a problem. But what the hell's that damn skin job? Is he there?
He's in custody, sir. Your security team.
Custody? What is he in custody for?
He's being interrogated, sir, in this matter.
Good.
Yes. What about the security team, sir? Do they have 24-hour surveillance on your daughter?
No, they don't have 24-hour surveillance on my daughter.
Mm,
They had 24-hour surveillance on my daughter. She probably wouldn't be dead.
I
Maybe.
understand, sir.
What's going on? This is ridiculous.
Could you provide us with the name of the security detail? They might have seen somebody close to your daughter in the last 24 hours that could assist in the investigation. What are their names, please?
Exactly. This is getting tiresome over the phone. You want to come in? We can talk.
Of course, sir.
I don't have all these information. Oh, I don't have all this information. I have people that work for me that have that information.
That's great, sir. Well, if you'll be so kind as to set your staff to providing us that data, we'll head right away to you.
See to it. And he clicks it and ends the conversation just like that. And Abraham just kind of looks up at, the cigarette. He goes, well, he took that well.
I flip on the KIA. I say, dispatch, send a squad car to escort Mr. Abraham Muniz to the station so that he can identify the victim for the record.
And she'll say, 3's a crowd in this matter? No problem, Bennett. I'm sure you and Quaid want some alone time. She gives you a wink.
Actually, we're headed to meet with your father.
With my father?
This is Abraham? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's his dispatch.
Dispatch. So, dispatch, please. We have Mr. Muniz here. Some decorum would be helpful.
Absolutely. I'm sorry for your loss, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say the computer doesn't need it.
Will there be anything else? Oh, by the way, still no word. They haven't located that boyfriend yet.
Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson. Hey, you're not supposed to say that in front of a witness or something.
What was
they tell me.
what was the other goon's last name? I took something down and I can't even read my own handwriting.
Michael Agronsky and
Agronsky.
Yeah.
Dispatch put an APB on one Michael Agronsky and a Charles Shipman. We need location data for these as well. We need to take statements from both.
Will do.
Anything else,
Okay.
Quaid?
No.
All righty. Stockbridge. How's it?
Start just mute it just in case.
Okay. So, going back to see Troy. Excellent. This may be, is this Stockbridge's, Stockbridge's first time seeing Troy?
In the flesh, yes, although I've read and filed the reports.
That's right. So, going into that section, you're treated to Officer Sanders. Blackman is notably absent at this time. Detectives, seems your skin job here is a lot more violent than we first realized.
So why are you smiling?
Because it's going to be a pleasure to see you guys put him down. They get rid of all of these bastards.
Ah, so you're a racist and a sadist.
You can't be a racist. They're not a race. They're robots.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're unable to get nuance in conversation. You going to move out of the way or you want to dance?
Go ahead there, man. Bust my chops. It looks a little deflated by a guy with a superior width, but
I exaggeratedly walk around him.
Yeah.
I would assume we have equipment that we would feel could reasonably detain or allow us to safely transport Troy. I mean, I understand, you know, strength and stuff like that, but I can't imagine Blade Runners wouldn't have the technology to be able to, so that Stockbridge and I feel comfortable putting this unit into a spinner and taking it to our dock.
Sure, you could put some kind of manacles on them or something like that if you really feel like it's appropriate. Right. I don't know if there's special manacles in the Blade Runner book, but you know, essentially there's yeah, it's not a problem.
There's handcuffs.
Yeah, there's ways to detain any suspect, really.
Yeah, I guess I want to make sure that it's strong enough to handle a replicant.
Okay.
And I'd like to reach out to Tyrell Dreams Labs as well.
Yeah, you're able to send out a call to Tyrell Dream Labs and what are you going to tell them?
I'm gonna have dispatch take care of this, but basically dispatch saying we're bringing a unit in. We need a technician to do some memory analysis on it.
And you got to back it, make a positive response. Just let me know. Yep, they can come see him.
Oh,
you bring it right away.
They can come to the station, or we need to bring it to there.
Well, you'll have to bring the unit there.
Okay.
That's what their stuff in house. They have they can't really do anything. They said their equipment's pretty big.
Okay. That's the plan then. We're gonna pack up Troy and take him to Tyrell.
That's your plan. Okay.
Longest shift ever.
Yeah. Troy looks a little more beat up. But you're what's your insight and all that stuff? Are you working with double A's or something?
Yeah, super high.
Give me a roll.
All right.
I'll help
because I want to see how this works.
Okay, so I've got a D10 plus a
That's
D12 as my base empathy, and then the help gives me
another C, a D8.
Another D8.
Hey, how many successes do you get or don't get?
I got a 10, so that's 2 successes.
That's it on 3 dice?
Yeah, 1, a 2, and a 10.
Wow. Okay, excellent.
I think 2 will be enough. Stop, Rich.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, just looking at Troy. Not only does he look more beat up, but he looks different. Like he looks angry. He doesn't look quite as docile. He's got like kind of like a 1,000-yard stare, and it's not that 1,000-yard stare that he had before of almost like a victim in a war zone where they just have that kind of blank. It's more of like a inmate 1,000-yard stare.
Troy, you look a lot different than the last time I saw you. What happened?
What do you mean?
Since the last time I saw you, what has happened? You don't look good.
I don't feel good, detective.
Because?
Well, they beat me up some more, but
you're making the dogs upset.
That's well, no, they did come back in there. That one detective or one officer came in with a couple of his. No, that's not what happened. He came in and he started to yell at me, and then whacked me a couple times with a baton, and then I just kind of snapped. And next thing you know, there were a couple guys in there, and then they tried to use those on me, and then there were something like 10 guys in here.
Troy, why, when you say they made you snap, can you walk me through the logic that got you there? They hit you. You've got protocols in place. What
What do you
does it
mean?
mean when you snapped?
What do you mean protocols in place?
What does it mean when you say snapped? I need to understand that.
Well, that guy he hit me and he kept on saying he was going to beat me up just like he beat up my stupid dog, and that was it. And then I just got really angry, and then I hit him.
Could you have killed him?
I could have killed him, but they stopped me.
Had they not stopped you, are you capable of killing him? Would you have been capable of that? Or would you have stopped yourself?
I don't know. I mean, I could kill him. It'd be easy.
Okay, Troy, you're not safe here. Obviously. This is my partner, Stockbridge.
We haven't met yet, Troy. My name is Grant Stockbridge, and I'm hoping that we can solve your problem.
Good.
For safety measures, we're going to have to cuff you. But we're going to take you to have you looked at. It's the only way we're going to be able to eliminate you as a suspect and find out who killed your owner. And you won't be near the people that are trying to hurt you. You okay with that?
Okay. I think I can
So
trust
while
you.
they're having their nice conversation, I'm checking my KIA for the security footage of Troy's unprovoked attack.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's what you can see is the security footage for this room very conveniently turns off at one point. But what you can see is you can see the outside hall security footage. So the security, Troy gets let in. It goes blank. You can see what Odin would be able to identify pretty easily as Officer Blackman walk in with a baton, or he like kind of whacking his hand like this. About 90 seconds later, you see a couple of officers like run into the room, pulling out batons. And about 2 minutes later, maybe not even, you see just innumerable officers, running to the room on tasers and shields and everything else.
So, not being vindictive, but being somewhat tactical, I'm going to file a complaint. Because I don't understand why that officer was messing with our chain of custody. Right? Why is he talking to our witness? Why is he assaulting our witness? Etc. There's no reason for that officer to be in this room with this replicant. So I'm setting that up to Chief Holden to deal with, so he has more reason for stress and anxiety.
You might another pack of cigarettes.
He's gonna love you.
Ivan,
Do
I
my
apologize
best.
for not remembering this. Is Blackman part of the crew that killed the dog?
Yes,
Okay.
he was
That's what I
a
thought.
commanding officer.
Okay.
Sanders was like kind of second in command of
Got
that group.
Yep. That's what I thought.
And
Okay,
there were at
good.
least a couple other officers there.
I did want to make sure I didn't mix it up with Dutch's boyfriend that we met in session 1 when we were walking across the station floor.
Muccinelli.
Oh, yeah.
Muccinelli.
Okay.
Yeah. Mooch. Yeah.
Mooch, right. Okay. All right, let's get
We work
Hell.
with such nice people.
I know.
Well, this brings us to an interesting point, besides the fact that I have to run to the bathroom for 1 second. That is, and you can decide what you're going to do while I run for a break, is this brings us to the end of shift 3.
Right.
So the thing is, do you work on shift 4 or do you rest on shift 4? Because, of course, there are penalties for not resting. So I'll leave you to that deliberation. I'll be right back.
Okay.
While you were gone, Ivan, we
Character.
figured out who it was when we put him in jail. It was a great
You
adventure.
are the
Yeah,
man.
for each further shift without downtime, you suffer 1 point of stress
There you go.
after 3.
Yeah, we're pretty willing
pushing
to
it.
continue to work.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So let us go to Muniz technologies. This is a building where you're met, unlike Stockbridge and Rosick, who are met with just a couple of people. This is a hustling and bustling environment. It is not quite so large because there's a lot more business being done in front of you.
Mm.
And the actual place that you end up having to go to meet this fellow is not a security holding, but is an automation factory. And apparently and when his family is here, or at least Cornelius is here from off-world to kind of manage and oversee and just do some stuff with his, many holdings, including this one does factory automation. And so it's a very large assembly plant, full of machine shops, various machines, robots that do work in factories to replace the labor of the highly absent factory workers. And also just some automated robots that are semi-humanoid that they produce, that sort of thing. So there's some of those walking around like carrying boxes and whatnot, but there's some of those also being assembled. So the place is loud and chaotic and noisy. And so you're brought up by a couple of people, past all that, up some stairs to an office with, giant windows overseeing the entire thing. And there's this huge mismatch between the exterior, the grease and everything like that, the office itself, the interior of the office, which while it's furnished much nicer than the machine shop, still has a film of grease and everything over it just from the cutting fluid in the air and all that sort of thing. And it's got some nicer furniture. I wouldn't call it opulent, but nicer. The contrast between that and the suit that this man is wearing is pretty manifest. And so Cornelius is he's an older fellow. He's got to be 60, just past 55.
Ancient.
Yeah, ancient. about 60 years old, but just
Death's door.
Yeah, and no, yeah, but I mean, just an imposing figure. Once again, like the same kind of perfectly done hair and everything like that. But all business. His watch probably costs more than your 10-year salary. Officers, what can you tell me is going on? Who killed my daughter?
We're working on that, sir.
Who are your suspects?
We can't comment directly on the.
Can't comment.
Yes, sir.
My taxes pay your salary. You work for the public. I'm the public.
I understand, sir.
You damn well can tell me.
Well, I understand, sir, but we're still in the process of the ongoing investigation, and we cannot divulge that particular information to you at this time. What we would like to know is, if your people have had the opportunity to gather a list of the members of the security detail on Miss Muniz.
Yeah, we've got a list. And it pops up something like sliding across the terminal, and he's actually printing out this piece of paper, coming right out, and it's got the names of various people, including the two fellows that you recognize, Agronsky and Shipman, as part of the detail.
But there's a lot of people in there, right?
Yeah, there's about there's about 10 names actually.
And it has their contact information and everything, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so last night, who exactly was on the detail? Just these two?
You guys want egg in your beer too? He's looking. It's like, nobody was assigned to her that evening. They only get assigned to her if she goes out.
Oh, and she goes out. So, okay. So it's only Agronsky and Shipman who were on duty last night when she went out. Correct?
I'll have to take a look here. And so that footage of those two fellows was actually from a couple of days ago. It wasn't last night. That was from her visit down at the
Early Q.
early queue.
Also, the early Q wasn't on the night of the murder. It was a couple of days
Yeah, a couple
previous.
nights prior, a couple of days previous.
Okay. Oh, it's great. That means we have 10 people to interrogate now. It could have been any of them.
You know, and once again, you're go ahead, Alan.
Does the security detail have access to Ms. Muniz's apartment? Do they have security codes for the entry, security codes for the surveillance gear?
Are you suggesting that one of my security officers killed my daughter? Is that what's going on?
I don't know, sir. Everybody's a suspect until we can rule them out.
Everybody on the planet?
Yes, sir.
And some off planet too, by proxy, of course.
We want to do a thorough job.
One second. Allow me, if you will, a moment. I don't recall how often you roll for NPCs, but it seems like this is the roll time.
Whenever it's critical, according to the rulebook.
Ah, okay, it's critical. And he looks over at Quaid, looks at Bennett. Did you just bring a skin job in my office?
I walked in myself. He didn't bring me.
Get this man out of here now. This thing. And he presses the button. There's security officers like piling in. There's about 10 guys, goons, appearing from nowhere, coming through the door.
Detective Quaid is an officer of the replicant detect unit.
That is an abomination and will get out of my sight now. Get the hell out of my office, both of you.
That is not wise, Mr. Muniz.
I don't give a rat's ass what's not wise. You know what's not wise? Bringing one of these goddamn abominations in my sight.
You are
I told my
obstructing.
daughter not have one of those things, and I'm telling you to get that out of here.
You're
These things never should have been made legal
an
again.
active investigation.
I will do whatever I damn well please. I will not cooperate with this abomination. Get this out of my office, and you get out of here. And the guys are now putting their hands on you.
Oh, wait.
Ready?
They're putting hands on us?
Oh yeah, they're putting their hands on you like now it's time for you to go.
All right. I break the finger, or at least try to, of the first one who touches me.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yes. You'd love that.
Hmm?
So is there initiative? Is there a roll, or it's just like a matter of a snap and take it from there?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Let's look at our cheat sheet really fast to see how we should handle this. I'm kind of thinking that you should just roll to break it because guys aren't expecting a fight as such. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yes. I think it's cards. Is it cards?
It's cards.
It's cards.
Initiative is cards, correct.
But if the game runner deems that you have surprise, you get the number 1 card. So you get the number 1 card.
And again, there's still like martial arts. There's still like aggressive violence. Like, basically, I just say, you're not assault on an officer of the law is a crime. Snap. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So just roll an armed combat
Let's see.
or a force check. You the man. You tell me.
Well, we haven't done any combat in a while, like ever. So let's double check this here for a second. Let's see. So it's a hand-to-hand combat skill,
Yep.
right?
Seeing as how it's just a finger, it probably comes off, right? It's not.
Right.
Maybe combat starts after that.
It's just a little snap, but I guess it would be a martial arts type skill.
But it is an opposed roll, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
This fellow's realizing.
That brings me to a question. I was looking over the rules. When you push, you can push on any dice that didn't give you successes, or do you have to have a complete failure for pushing? I'm not clear on that. It's like, say if you roll 1 success and 1 dice with less 5 or less, can you push on that die that did give you success, or to push you have to have a complete failure?
No,
I understand
think you can always.
You can always
you
push,
you may
right?
re-roll all dice you wish.
Okay.
So, but only any ones cause damage or stress, and
Correct.
an original one cannot be re-rolled.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all it limits. So there's just not really much reason to re-roll one that has a success unless you have a 10 or a 12.
Right.
Perfect. All right.
Right, unless you want to gamble it on trying to go for double successes or something. But I would think re-roll stands, right? So whatever you roll on the re-roll stands. So if you had
Right.
1 success and you want to risk it for 2, you might wind up with 0.
Right. But my question is that even if you get 1 success, you could re-roll the other die. That was
Yes,
my.
you can
Okay.
re-roll the ones that failed, and you can
Yes.
re-roll the ones that succeeded, but re-rolls stand whatever they are.
Perfect. All right.
Well, let's do an opposed roll here. For him, let's try to not break his hand or finger or whatever.
All right. I have 1 success, so I'm going to push that, of course.
Good idea.
I now have 3 successes.
Oh dear. Well, you've rolled 2 more successes than your opponent because he rolled 1 success. So you've now inflicted a critical injury on your opponent.
There goes his hand.
All
It's the finger, the metatarsal, the tire wrist.
Yeah, we're not
Part
gonna.
of the
We're not gonna.
forearm.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not actually gonna roll this because that's silly. You're grabbing his hand at this point. So I'm just gonna roll that at this point. Yeah, you've broken his finger and his in his struggles to prevent you from really doing that. You've really caused major damage to his hand, his wrist.
Excellent.
Son of a bitch! Those are the big burly guys now holding.
Now we can leave, as long as you don't touch us.
Christ. And it means it's like standing like, get out.
We'll be back with a warrant, Mr. Muniz.
All right. I mean, that gave us more information than we expected, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a! Oh, I can feel it. Anyhow, Stockbridge and Company, Odin, my man.
So we can't take Troy out in a spinner. So we need one of the larger vehicles, which means requisitioning, which means Odin.
Right. Yeah, Odin.
Yep.
You've got some, and I believe requisitioning as well. Walk us through how that works again, as far as he's using his
Connections. He could do
connections.
that.
Yep.
And then there are costs associated with it, with which I'm not very familiar at this point.
So it's going to be 2d12s.
Will he make it?
I don't know. Helps if I roll a d12. Do I have a sense that one success will do this, or should I push?
Oh yeah,
this?
no, you,
Okay.
you don't need to push this. You don't need to push this. So
Is that standard equipment or premium equipment? I guess that would do. Location, if it's standard equipment, is a instant thing, and it takes 1 promo point and a connections roll. If it's premium, would be a shift to obtain the vehicle and 2 promo points and a connections roll. It's just a car, right?
Yeah. A specific car. Yeah.
yeah, I'm saying that's that you can get that. You get to take them, especially given the nature of the case.
Get some rookie to drive us, so we're in the back with Troy.
All right.
How about you get a rookie to sit in the back with Troy? I'll drive it.
All right. I would just.
So,
I would like 2 people with Troy and
Okay.
1 driver. So yeah, it's all you, Grant.
A rookie from the RDU or a rookie from.
Black and white.
Okay, so you get a rather white-faced, nervous-looking rookie sitting in the back with Razik, with with a manacled replicant. It's obviously been beaten up, and this guy looks like he'd rather be anyplace else than in the back of that heavy spinner. And you're zipping off to Tyrell Dream Labs in the middle of the night. All right.
In the middle of the night.
All right. It's in a section of town which is mostly not exactly abandoned. Well, it's abandoned. There's abandoned parts of LA all over the place, but the building itself is on the large side. Not like I should take that back. It's not Wallet size large, but it's like a. I guess we'll call it medium-sized building, mostly 1 floor, but it looks like a standard sort of small factory or office building. There's a receptionist at the front, lets you right in without a problem. They're expecting you, and despite this, given the size of the building, there's almost nobody there. And finally, this middle-aged woman finally walks up to you. And say, hi, I'm Lilith Tyrell. What can I do for you officers? Oh, I didn't know you were going to bring. No. Well, what's going on?
So need to figure out a few things. One, it looks like we have some memory issues, but more importantly, there's some sort of block on this unit that's preventing this unit from telling us some important details. So somebody's gone in here, has put an artificial block, and we need that lifted so that this unit can tell us everything we need to know.
Or if nothing else, has capitalized on its proclivity for obedience and has commanded it to silence.
Oh. Okay, well that makes a lot more sense. And she's kind of looking Troy up and down. All right, come with me, all of you. Just getting sat in a chair, looks very much like a dentist chair or uptown, sort of like a dentist chair, more upright, but definitely kind of strapped in and everything. He starts bringing down equipment, putting electrodes on his head, all that sort of thing. Brings up a couple of screens, he's looking at them, something that looks almost like what's that? there's a certain thing I'm thinking of they use in submarines, that kind of like it's got a hood over
Periscope?
it. She's looking at that. No, it was sort of, yeah, she's sort of looking at this thing with the hood for a second. Okay, bring up the files on the unit. Oh yes. Yeah, this is a standard obedience and facility modification. The appropriate memories. Oh yeah, there's some pretty nasty memories. You have to put in there to do that. But Wallace gets what Wallace wants, and they want a stable product. So this is how we get a stable product. And you can tell she's got a little bit of disdain and irritation, every time she says the word Wallace. All right, so what are you having trouble remembering, Troy? Troy looks at, I don't have any trouble remembering anything. And so, detective, what do you want him to tell you?
Who killed his owner? That's all.
And so Troy, yeah. Troy is giving that same sort of like deer in the headlights sort of look. And Troy, why can't you tell them that? And Troy, once again, he's a little bit less deer in the headlights, or it's a different kind of shock. But he looks, he said, Victoria told me never to say anything bad about them. Let's see. She's looking around. She's looking at like his, looking at a couple of screens. You can see like little lines going up and down, and things, little meters, going up and down in various little, areas, or just clearly taking readings on a whole bunch of stuff is what I'm trying to say. And she said, "What would it take for you to tell us?" And you can see certain things go up and down, and what have you. I was like, I don't think I could. And she said, "Well, can you tell us who she told you never to say anything bad about?" And just fires off a bunch of questions. She goes, it's in there. I can try to remove the inhibition through alternate memories. Implanting them at this point is always really risky. The chance I wipe everything out, there's a chance I get him to talk. It's going to take a while.
It sounds to me like Wallace has just made too advanced a product for you. Should we maybe take it somewhere else a little bit more capable?
There's no charisma score in this, is there?
No.
Not really.
Manipulation? You're
It's
trying to
manipulation.
Probably
manipulate her?
manipulation. Yeah. Do you
Uh,
need a roll, Ivan?
yeah.
All right. For those of you playing the home game, this game's a lot easier when you roll D12s and D10s. That'd be 4 successes, sir.
Woof.
I rolled a 12. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 successes. A 9 is not 2 successes. 10 is.
No.
Right, 10. It's 10 plus, right? So a 3. A 12 and a 9.
Okay. No. She only gets 2 in opposition. There's nobody better than Tyrell Technologies. It takes a while to do this. I can put them under right now and start to implant the disinhibition memories. You take them someplace else, you'll probably end up with a corpse, or you'll be lobotomized.
When can I pick up? When will the repairs be done? How long is a while?
Well, if you want to wait, we can probably get this done in a few hours. The implantation isn't the problem. It's bringing him back.
Kind of look to you, Stockbridge, for a nod or a shake.
I've got questions before we take a risk with the integrity of the memory. Like, Troy, who, in the event of Victoria's death, who gets the apartment, and who would you go live with? Right. Do you even know?
It looks for a second. Upon the death of the owner, the model is the immediate property of Wallace Corporation. And because I believe the apartment immediately goes to her father.
Is Victoria very worried about the opinion of her father or other people's opinion of him?
She got angry sometimes when people said things about him, but she didn't talk about that very much. She didn't really care what he thought.
So they don't have a good relationship, and he didn't like you. So does she avoid him?
He stops and is
like he's processing what he can say.
Sometimes she didn't answer his calls.
He doesn't like you. Why?
Because of what I am.
So not something that you have done, but because of what you are. So could you please characterize her father's attitude toward replicants?
Her father doesn't like replicants. He is outspoken about that. And I think he's a member of at least one anti-replicant society. So no, he doesn't like us. A lot of people don't.
Troy, based on what you know about your owner and about her father, can you tell me, other than getting the apartment, what potential gain would her father now have that she's dead? Based on what you know about their relationship.
The beads of sweat are starting to go down Troy's face. Possible gain. I don't know. He didn't like that she was his heir.
Who's they, Troy? The father didn't like that? He
Father
controls that. That doesn't make sense, Troy.
She had some kind of clause by her late mother. It was put in that she was to be the heir.
Got it.
Victoria said something about she having really good lawyers. But I don't understand the rest of that. I just know, but I don't know if he would benefit from that. I guess he thought it was more reasonable for Abraham to be his heir, but
we've got motive, kids. We just need opportunity, and we got to go. We're at time.
Yeah. Motive, method.
Yep. Now we just got to prove opportunity.
okay. Now, we do need to stop, apparently.
Yeah.
However, this is a good moment. So at that point, as you're sitting there having this discussion, all of a sudden, the assistant that let you in originally, comes in, boss. I don't know what's going on, but there's about like 6 cars out here from Wallace Corporation. They're all around the building. And a whole bunch of guys are getting out. And Tyrell looks at you like, what's going on? There's something you're not telling me?
There's lots
And-
we're not telling you.
Page black to be continued.
And already you can hear the paging system going off as people are ringing, wanting to be let in.
Very cool.
Nice.
All right. I like this playing, like not waiting 7 months to play again. So we'll have to look at calendars. Good seeing everybody.
I accept all blame for any schedule tomfoolery.
If you only liked us more, Anthony.